So in this segment, we're going to be talking about vulnerable teenagers slash kids in care who have been failed by councils, and these are sad. These are sad stories of children being failed. Vulnerable children through no fault of their own, being born into parents who either didn't care, were unable to look after them, or perhaps had passed away. But whatever the circumstances are, it's not the child's fault. No child wants to be brought into this world with parents who don't love them. No child deserves that. So we're going to be talking about how these councils have failed these children. So, a teenager given a tent to live in and a child denied the chance to say goodbye to his dying mother feature in a report revealing heartbreaking decisions about children in care. The Watchdog report also includes a case of siblings abruptly removed from a foster care wanting to adopt them. So another details how a foster girl returned home to find her bags packed, a taxi to a hostel waiting for her. The case is also revealed by the local government and social care ombudsman. So Ombudsman Michael King said one case like this was too many and urged all councils when making decisions about children in their care to ask, would this decision be good enough for my child? None of the councils in England are named in the report, and that's annoying. I would rather they name and shame these councils, to be honest, because these councils are not doing a good enough job. And maybe that would make a difference with the electorate next time round, because some of the stories here are truly painful. So, Kathy Ashley of the Family Rights Group said such poor decisions could be so damaging at a critical moment in the lives of children in care or at risk of care. With the number of children in care at its highest for 35 years and the pandemic increasing the pressure and strain on families and on children's services, this is very concerning, she said. The report Careless, helping to improve council services to children in care, look at the journey of children coming into care, creating stability, contact arrangements, and eventually leaving care. So, this is something we've talked about before with, the government trying to take away rights from vulnerable children, with the court quashing it, saying that the government didn't consult enough groups in order to pass these changes. And so what we can see from successive governments is their failure to help vulnerable children. So it uses a litany. This is about the report. It uses a litany of real-life case studies whose names have been changed to protect their identities to show where things have gone wrong. One case featured was Albert, who was 11 and living with foster parents when he was told his birth mother had died. 4 years later, during a review meeting, Albert learned his mother had been seriously ill and on life support, insensitive. This was switched off without him being told, thus denying him the opportunity to visit her mother before she died. So they took away the chance for a child to meet their mum before she had died, before the life support was turned off. How callous can you be to make a decision like that? He also complained about, this is the Ombudsman complaining about the use of insensitive language and the way in which information was shared with him. The council upheld the complaint. The Ombudsman said young children needed to be able to understand the decisions being made by their corporate parents. That's such a weird way to call them. The case of Billy, a vulnerable and troubled 17-year-old, was thrown out of his home by his father is also highlighted. The unnamed council offered him accommodation but far from where he usually lived. Then, rather than consider whether it should accommodate Billy nearer, the council gave him a tent followed by a static caravan. Like, how have we got to a situation where a teenager, a guy who's nearly an adult, okay, can be offered a tent by the council? Like, what is going on that we do not have the enough emergency accommodation for people, that this person here is being offered a tent to live in by the council? A tent. Why the council offering this boy a tent? Why? And then a static caravan. Like, why is there such a lack of emergency housing? These are the questions we need to ask ourselves. Because this is shambolic. Lying to children. Billy's mental and physical health seriously deteriorated during his ordeal, and I'm not surprised, to be honest. And shortly afterwards, he was detained under the Mental Health Act, 1983, where he remained for nearly a year. The ombudsman said. So this situation where he had an abusive dad, he kicked him out of the house, right? He's then given a tent to live in, followed by a caravan. He's then detained under the Mental Health Act because he's most likely had a breakdown. The guy's 17. It added, the council had seriously failed Billy by not offering him suitable accommodation under Section 20 of the Children Act, 1989. The council awarded Billy £2,500 for the stress. £2,500. He couldn't even get a deposit with that amount of money. He's got no chance. £2,500. Shocking. In another case, Tim and Nikki fostered two particularly vulnerable children when their birth parents were no longer able to look after them. After 2 years, the couple told the council they wished to adopt the children, but the council questioned the amount of money the couple requested to help support these needy children, and they were concerned about the children's academic progress. So surely the council should do more to help their academic progress, to actually show these parents, where they could improve. No, they didn't do that. Let's see what they actually did. The council decided the children should be removed from Tim and Nikki's care without notice. So these parents, these foster parents who want to adopt these children, were told, we're concerned about the amount of money you need to support these children, and we're concerned by the lack of academic progress, so we're going to take these children away from you. And it gets worse, believe it or not. So the council decided they should be removed. There was no statutory meeting or evidence to support the council's claims about the foster parents. So, no evidence here. Nothing to say that these parents are unsuitable. No. Social workers then collected the children from school and told them Tim and Nikki had gone on holiday. Why are the social workers doing this? Why are they going along with this lie? I don't understand. Your job as a social worker is to protect children. You're the type of social workers who give social workers bad names. That's what you guys are. Why are you lying to these kids? Why are you lying to them? The Ombudsman said, in this case, we used our powers to also consider the injustice the children suffered. We found the children would have been harmed by the sudden removal from the home, while happily they were found another foster placement which became long term. The way the council acted denied them the chance to voice their own wishes on the matter. What if these children actually did like the Tim and Nikki as their foster parents? What if they weren't found other suitable parents? What do you do in that situation? Stupid council. Miss Ashley added this to the early comment: putting the voices and experience of children and families at the centre is key to getting this right. President of the Association of Directors of Children's Services, Jenny Coles, said there had been a 34% increase in the number of children in care over the past decade, and that the availability of placements for children in care was a key issue for the majority of councils. He said, it is important that local authorities learn from their successes and also where things have gone wrong. The case studies in the report provide an opportunity for the sector to learn and subsequently improve practice. But the thing is, right, unless there's more pressure on these councils to improve, unless they are named and shamed and forced to go through review after review in order to assess which idiots are running the show, nothing will change. And we've got more bad news, people. So more than half of the children reported missing in Northamptonshire during a 12-month period were living in care. So clearly we can see that there's a massive problem with the care system in Northamptonshire specifically, with half of them being reported missing. The question you got to ask yourself: if these children were in a nice, loving home, how likely are they to run away, rather than if they're in an abusive place, a place that does not care for them? How much more likely are they to run away? So this article talks about the numbers there. You can have a look. You should pause the screen here. In that 12-month period, 1,312 of those under 18 were living in care, and 109 of those were reported to be off-grid more than once in the same period. So clearly, some of these children are repeat offenders, repeatedly running away from these care homes. Why? You've got to ask yourself, why would they rather live on the street or live with, potentially dodgy and dangerous individuals in order to escape these care homes? What? Do you understand what I'm saying? Why are they doing this? Clearly they are the victims here, and the question you've got to ask yourself is, why are they running away? And this article further talks about stuff the police are doing, which isn't relevant to this video, but at least the police are trying to get a handle on things. But to go back to the main point of the story, which is to say that clearly councils are not doing their jobs properly. At least these specific councils are not doing their jobs properly when it comes to helping children in care home. You're offering a homeless kid, a 17-year-old, a tent. Where's all the emergency accommodation? Why are there such long housing lists? Where is the social housing to help these people? He was offered a tent to live in, a boy, 17 years old, detained under the Mental Health Act later on because he probably had some sort of breakdown. A kid who got very little help. What chances in life does a person like that have without being given a stable footing? That's the least the kid deserves, a stable foothold in life. Offered, given £2,500, can't get a deposit with that. We don't know what's happened to him. We don't know if he's still homeless. We don't know if the council's actually done anything else. What I do know is him and a lot of the other children mentioned in this article. Also, the foster parents have been let down. A lot of people have been let down by the care system. And I don't think this government actually going to do anything about it. You know, this news story is not big news, but you know, it's what the channel exists for. You know, to cover these sorts of stories, to tell people about them. Yeah, I'm late in covering this one. I was trying to fit this in somewhere, you know, trying to figure out how to talk about it, but you know, better late than never. And that's something the Conservative government can never really say, because most of the time they're never. But I'm going to leave it there. Let me know what you guys think in the comments below. Like, comment, share, subscribe, and hopefully I'll see you in the next one.